Good morning, and thanks a million for joining me on the yoga mat this morning. This week's focus is on lower back and pelvic stability. So they're very much an area that kind of need to be worked on together. Again, if we're quite tight in the hips, it tends to tilt the pelvis forward and kind of upward, and then that can put a lot of stress and tension and weakness into the lower back. So if you kind of think of your pelvic bones, they're kind of tilted forward. Then they're compressing. They're also not allowing us to engage with the core muscles, because then in order to release the lower back muscles, we want to engage with the frontal core muscles, and we can't really do that if we have really tight hips. So again, our hip, our pelvic stability and our lower back issues can all come back to that hip tightness as well. So we'll definitely be mobilizing into the whole hip complex. We're going to try to engage a little bit more into our pelvic stabilizers, and then with that, hopefully be able to create a little bit of space into the lower back so that we can engage a little bit more with those muscles too. So lots of stuff happening this morning. So we're going to start in a nice, easy cross-legged seat. Sit nice and comfortable, nice and tall. We'll rest the palms on the knees, relax the shoulders back. We're just going to start to waken up the spine. So we're going to inhale, press the chest all the way to the right, draw it through center all the way to the left. And as we exhale, tuck the chin in, we're going to round through that upper back and continue with your own breath. Nice deep bend to the elbows. And you can use the heels of the hands, you can press them into the knees to draw yourself a little bit deeper into the movement. And just allow the shoulders roll, allow the head roll, so nice and relaxed. See if you can lengthen a little bit further each time to really feel that stretch into the lower spine and into the glutes. And we should probably feel it more so in one hip over the other, depending on which way those legs are crossed. Feel free to close down the eyes. Again, just awakening up the body, creating a little bit of space, a little bit of freedom. Relax the breath. And then we're going to meet back at center in the seat. We'll reverse the crisscross of the legs just so we can work into that other hip. And then we'll inhale, press the chest to the left, draw it through center, all the way over to the right. And as we exhale, tuck the chin in and around. And continue with your own breath. Nice and relaxed, in and out through the nose. And just try to get that breath a little bit deeper down into the belly without forcing it. And just notice how it feels into the opposite hip. And again, just enjoying that movement. So not getting too caught up with how it feels or if one side's a little bit tighter than the other. So even depending on how we slept, our body's going to feel a little bit different first thing in the morning. So just ironing out the niggles, ironing out the imbalances with movement. Eventually, we're going to meet back at center. Sit nice and tall, we open the palms to the ceiling. And then inhale the arms out, reaching up. Interlock fingers, press palms to the ceiling. As we exhale, press the palms forward and release. So we'll do that twice more. So a nice big stretch as we inhale, look up. And as we exhale, press forward and release. And we'll do that once more. We're going to work a little bit more into the spine. So we'll inhale the arms out, reaching up. As we exhale, gently twist to the right, place the left hand just above the knee, right hand on the ground behind us. As we inhale, sit tall. And as we exhale, gently twist. Looking over the right shoulder. We're lengthening first through the spine, and then we're working into that twist. Starting that twist in the lower spine, the lower back, and all the way up through to the neck. So try to create as much space as we can, and then work in that movement. We can press the left hand into the leg. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. We'll take one more breath. And then gently inhale back through center, little twist to the left, just to release. And then back to center again. We're going to reverse the crisscross of the legs. Again, open the palms to the ceiling. And then inhale the arms out, reaching up. As we exhale, gently twist to the left. Place the right hand just above the knee, left hand on the ground behind us. As we inhale, sit tall, pressing that hand into the ground. And as we exhale, gently twist. Twisting from the lower spine. We might even walk that left hand around the back. Trying to draw that left shoulder back as much as we can, opening into that heart space. Pressing that right hand into the leg. See if we can Draw ourselves a little bit deeper. We're really trying to engage with those shoulder muscles, those upper back muscles, to create as much space into the heart, into the chest as we can. Lengthening on the inhale, releasing on the exhale. We'll take one more breath. And then gently inhale back through center, little twist to the right, just to release. And then back to center again. We're going to keep the right foot out in front. We're going to bend the left knee and place the left foot behind us. And the knee is into the arch of the right foot. So that right shin is parallel to the front edge of the mat. And we can draw that left foot outwards. So we've got a nice straight line from the left knee back to the ankle, and those toes are drawn toward the knee. Probably going to find ourselves a little bit more over to the right. So we're going to get our finger pads, press them into the ground so we can adjust the sit bones, the hip bones, and get ourselves nice and centered as much as we can, pressing the inner left thigh toward the ground. And this in itself is a lovely mobilizer into the hips. So we're mobilizing the hips in opposite directions here. So we will do both sides. And again, we can just stay here, transferring the weight toward the ground. If we want to go deeper, we're going to inhale the arms out, reaching up. And as we exhale, gently fold, lengthening from the lower back, reaching forward through the fingertips. And then we can rest those hands to the ground out in front. As we inhale, draw the chest forward, relax the shoulders. And as we exhale, see if we can sink a little bit deeper toward the ground. We might come onto the forearms. We might walk the hands all the way forward and rest the head toward the ground, or maybe toward the block if we want to fully support it. Really feeling that predominantly into the right hip, but still pressing that left inner hip toward the ground. And we're lengthening through the spine as we inhale, and we're folding as we exhale. And again, don't get too caught up with how far forward you're folding. Once you're feeling that release into the hips, and a nice little bit of space into that lower back. Relaxing with each breath. From here, we're just going to walk the hands slightly over to the left. So we're getting a little bit more of a stretch into the right side of the body. Whether we're folding or not, just feeling that release and really grounding that right sit bone. Relax the breath. We'll take one more breath on this side. Gently walk the hands back to center. We tuck the chin in and slowly walk the hands back toward the body. We're going to scoop the right hand around the body toward the lower back. Place the left hand just above the knee. And again, just a gentle twist, slip it over the right shoulder. We're going to really feel that into the front of the left hip, the quad, a little bit into the ITB. As we inhale, lengthen, and as we exhale, twist. So front of the body, almost parallel to the side of the room. We're looking over that right shoulder. Feeling that lovely release from the right shoulder down to the left knee. One more breath here. And then inhale slowly back through center, little twist to the left. And then back to center again. We're going to bring that left shin out front. We keep it there, and then we bring that right foot behind us. So same positioning, other side, left shin parallel to the front edge of the mat. Again, we're drawing that heel out in line with the knee. We're drawing the toe toward the knee. And again, finding ourselves a little bit more over to the left. We press the finger pads into the ground. Again, shift the hips around until you can kind of center yourself over the middle of the body. And we're going to press that inner right thigh toward the ground. And again, we can stay here. So this is strong enough in itself. If you feel you want to go deeper, we'll inhale both arms out, reaching up. And as we exhale, gently fold, folding over that left shin, reaching, and then resting the hands. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. And as we exhale, gently fold. Again, we might come onto the forearms. We might not. We might walk the hands out a little bit further, sinking the head toward the ground. Continuing to press that right inner thigh toward the ground, but we are going to feel it a wee bit more into that left hip. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. We'll take 2 more breaths here. Pressing the ground away, really drawing that left sit bone back. 1 more breath. And then gently tuck the chin in. We'll walk the hands back toward the body. Again, we're going to swoop the left hand around the lower back behind us. Place the right hand just above the knee. And then gently look over that left shoulder. So it's a very gentle twist, but we will feel it. We're pressing the right hand into the leg if we want to go a little bit deeper. Lengthening through the spine. And as we exhale, draw that left shoulder back a little bit more. We can even press that left foot into the leg into that right leg if we want to feel that stretch a little bit more. So just feeling that space into the front of the right hip here. Nice and stable, drawing the belly in. We'll take one more breath. And then slowly inhale back to center, little twist to the right just to release. And then back to center again. We're going to bring that right foot out in front. We'll bring the left foot out to meet it. So feet are wider than hip width distance apart. We'll bring the hands behind us. Fingertips point back. Pressing into the ground, opening into the heart. We're going to inhale center, and as we exhale, drop both knees over to the right as we look over the left shoulder. Inhale back through center. As we exhale, drop the knees to the left as we look over the right shoulder. And continue with your own breath. Nice and relaxed, just rock it into those hips, inner and outer. Look at the opposite direction, so we're getting a little bit of mobilization into the upper spine. And try to draw those knees to the ground, or as close to the ground as we can. So again, feet are nice and wide to allow that happen. You might want to bring a little bit of core into it, so you might bring those hands to heart center. It's just taking the support of the arms out of the movement and continuing, dropping those knees side to side. So you're going to notice you're going to have to engage a little bit more of those core muscles with the hands off the ground. But either way, you're getting a lovely mobilization into the hips and spine. You might find those sit bones drawing you forward. Eventually, we're going to meet back in center. We can shift your way back onto the mat if we've come off it. And then from here, we're going to lie back onto the ground. Just make sure you have your block and your strap there beside you. So really slowly engaging all those core muscles to get to the ground. And we're going to stay here. We're going to hug the right knee and give it a nice little squeeze into the chest. Resting the right ankle just above the left knee, coming into our figure four. Draw that right toe toward the knee and press the knee away from the body, grounding the lower back into the mat. We're going to inhale, lift the left foot off the ground, shin parallel to the ceiling, and either interlock fingers or wrap our strap around the back of that left hamstring. As we inhale, walk the shoulder blades together, opening into the heart space. And as we exhale, hug that left knee in a little bit closer as we press the right knee away from the body. Lengthening, opening on the inhale. Releasing, deepening on the exhale. So really working with the breath here this morning. Feeling that predominantly into the right hip. We shouldn't be feeling it into the knees, so keep drawing that right toe toward the knees, so we're keeping the lower leg active. So again, we're creating space in the hips in order to be able to engage in those muscles around the hips and into the core. We'll take one more breath on this side. And then gently release the grip, release the left foot to the ground. Staying in our figure four, we're going to extend both arms out in line with the shoulders, and then gently just allow the legs drop over to the left. So we're still in our figure four. We're still pressing that right knee away from the body. We're looking over the right shoulder. And we're going to hold it here, really feeling that into the left hip. Nice full belly breaths for 3. For 2. And 1, inhale back into our figure four. We're going to stay here. We're going to work to our figure four bridge. Again, if it's not for you, you can place both feet on the ground. Hands come to the ground, fingertips brush the backs of the heels. We're going to gently peel the lower, middle, upper back off the ground as we lift the hips. We're going to walk the shoulder blades together, pressing hands, arms, shoulders into the ground, pressing that left foot into the ground and drawing that right knee toward the earth. And we can keep that lift, really drawing the belly button in. We're going to inhale, lift, and as we exhale, gently lower, hovering just off the mat. Inhale, really slowly up. Exhale, really slowly lower. We'll do that 3 more times. So again, feel free to do this with both feet on the ground. And I want you to feel fully engaged with the core, both as you lift and as you lower. So we're not losing that connection at any point of the movement. So we'll take 1 more lift, nice and strong, nice and high. And then exhale, release all the way down to the ground. We're going to cross the right leg over the left. Pressing that lower back into the ground, we're going to hug both knees into the chest, either interlocking fingers around the right knee, the left shin, or catch hold of the front of the ankles and draw those heels away from each other. Relax the elbows, relax the shoulders, draw the belly in, see if we can hug those knees a little bit closer to the chest, feeling that into the right glute. And again, if we want a little bit of core, we're going to inhale, lift the chest, so the head will automatically come off the ground, but we've lots of space there to breathe. Keep hugging those knees toward the chest. Holding it here, releasing for 3, for 2, and 1. Release the head, release the grip, release the feet back to the ground. We're going to uncross the legs. Hugging the left knee in, give it a nice little squeeze into the chest. We rest the left ankle just above the right knee, figure 4. Draw the left toe toward the knee and really press that left knee away from the body. Feeling that already into the left hip. If we want to go deeper, we can gently lift the right foot off the ground, interlock fingers or strap around the back of that right hamstring. And just notice one side might be a little bit tighter than the other. So just because you didn't use the strap on one side, feel free to use it on the other and really make that hip accessible. As we inhale, open the heart, lengthen the spine. And as we exhale, draw the right knee a little bit closer as we press that left knee away from the body. Softening the breath, melting the shoulder blades together to the ground. And again, just releasing that tension. Again, one more breath here. And then release the grip, release the foot to the ground, staying in our figure 4, extending both arms out in line with the shoulders. We're just going to gently drop those legs over to the left, staying in our figure 4 and see if we can press that left knee away. So we're still working into that left hip, maybe looking over the left shoulder and taking a few nice deep belly breaths here. One more breath. And then inhale, slowly back to center again. We can stay in our figure 4 or our figure 4 bridge is not for you. Place both feet flat to the ground. Fingertips brush the back of the heel. When you're ready, press the foot into the ground. We'll inhale, peel the lower, middle, upper back off the ground. As we lift those hips, we're going to walk the shoulder blades together, taking the pressure off the head and neck. Pressing foot, hands, arms, shoulders into the ground, lifting those hips as high as we can. Pressing that left knee down toward the ground. So just notice that the left knee is pointed toward the ceiling. I want you to consciously engage that left hip so we can open into that space. We're going to inhale, lift. And as we exhale, gently lower the hips, hovering off the mat. Inhale, really slowly lift. Exhale, really slowly lower. I'm going to do that 3 more times, nice and strong. Aiming for as much height as we can, but keep both front and the back of the core nice and engaged. 2 more. A last one. And then slowly release all the way down to the ground. We're going to cross the left leg fully over the right, drawing the belly in, pressing the lower back into the ground. We're going to hug those knees back into the chest, either interlocking fingers around the left knee, the right shin, or catching hold of the front of the ankles and drawing those heels as far away from each other as you can, really feeling that release into the left hip. Relax the shoulders, relax the elbows, drawing those knees into the chest. And again, if you want upper core, we're going to lift the chest. Head will automatically come off the ground, but again, no pressure in the neck. So a nice open throat here so we can breathe freely. Keep hugging those knees into the chest. Holding it, releasing into that left hip for 3, for 2, and 1. Release the head, release the grip, release the feet all the way down to the ground, and then we're going to uncross the legs. So we're just going to do a few little pelvic tilts here while we're on the ground. So I want you to press the lower back into the ground. We're just going to rest the hands on the belly, nice and soft. Feet are about hip width distance apart. If we have a block, we're going to place the block between the knees and we're going to press the knees into the block. So we're starting that stability process here already. And then what we're going to do, With our hands, we're going to catch hold of the outer side of the waist, and we're just going to gently tilt the hips forward. So we're bringing a little arch into the lower back, and then we're going to tilt the hips upward toward the belly button. So we're pressing that lower back into the ground. And we're just going to do that a few times. Rocking into the hip complex and feeling those muscles engage and disengage. All the time, we're still pressing those knees into the block if we can. So there's a lot of things happening here. And again, even just doing these little pelvic tilts is going to help free up a little bit of space into the lower back, into the hips without being too intense. Just looking for movement into the whole pelvic area so that we can engage in those stabilizers. Just notice how that feels. Maybe it's a little bit easier to tilt it forward than it is to tilt it back, depending on what we naturally fall into, or what muscles have been stretched or weakened or strengthened or tightened. So again, just really exploring that tilt. Eventually, we're going to come to stillness. So we're going to step the feet slightly out in front, so slightly different to our normal bridges. So we have probably about a foot, foot and a half nearly between the heel and the hips. We're going to place the hands to the ground, gently work the shoulder blades together. Pressing the lower back into the ground to start with, and then we're just going to gently peel the lower back off the ground. So we're not going for a full bridge here. And I want you to see if you can work that from the hips and the core more so than the legs. So those legs step forward a little bit. And then see if we can clench the bum. So we're really engaging in those glute muscles. And we're just going to hold it here. Again, still pressing the knees into the block. Drawing that belly button in. And then keeping that hold, see if we can just hover the right heel off the ground, holding it here. Still focusing, although we're going to feel that into the left leg, still focusing that energy into the core. And then release the heel. We're going to hover the left heel off the ground again, just holding it here, but trying to transfer that energy back into the core for 3, for 2, and 1, and then we're just going to alternate heels off the ground. We could actually come right up onto the heel, so toes are lifted here. But again, I want you to keep trying to draw that belly button in. So although there's quite a lot of activity into the glutes and the hamstrings here, I want you to try to draw that energy back into the core. So again, little minute movements, not going too crazy here. And it's just a slight hip lift, so we're not in our full bridge. We'll do 2 more. Just little taps. And then exhale, release all the way down to the ground. Staying here, pressing the lower back into the ground. We're going to hug the knees toward the chest, and we're going to bring the legs out at 90-degree angles. So we have 90-degree angles at the hips, at the knees, and at the ankles. We're going to place the hands onto the thighs, pressing that lower back into the ground. We're going to press the legs into the hands, but at the same time, we're pressing the hands into the legs. So this is quite a strong movement. Doesn't look like we're doing much here at all. Relax the shoulders. So again, try to relax the rest of the body and just really work into this core space. We're pressing legs into hands, hands into legs. We're pressing the lower back into the ground. We're pressing the knees into the block. So this is quite a highly engaged movement. You might even find yourself shaking a little bit. We're just holding it here for 3, for 2, and 1. Release the feet. Just for a moment, we are going to do this again. Quite a strong little engager here. So really good for that pelvic stability. Also good for working into those lower back muscles. When you're ready, we're going to go again. Lift the feet. Again, lovely 90-degree angles at the joints. Placing the hands to the thighs. We're pressing thighs to hands, hands to thighs. Pressing lower back into the ground. Pressing knees into the block or cushion or whatever you have there. Try not to tense up into the upper body if you can. Holding it. Keep pressing that lower back into the ground for 3, for 2, And one, gently release. Ooh. Again, just softening the body here. We're going to do that one more time. Coming back to the breath, and when you're ready, we lift those feet off the ground. Again, lovely 90-degree angles, pressing that lower back into the ground, so no space underneath the spine. Hands to legs, legs to hands, and keeping that pressure. So we're not just placing the hands, we're pressing the thighs into the hands, we're pressing the hands back into the thighs. So it's a really resisted strength. Or strengthener. Relax the shoulders, relax the breath for 3, for 2, and 1, and gently release. Well done. We can release the block off to the side. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together, allow the knees drop out. Again, notice if that little gap is formed, we're going to press the lower back into the ground, connect the whole length of the spine to the mat, and just place those hands onto the inner thighs. Pressing the soles of the feet together. Hands are resting on the inner thighs. And again, we're going to try that resistance. So we're going to press the thighs or the inner thighs into the hands as we press the hands into the thighs. So it's like we want to draw those knees together, but the hands are stopping us. So again, feeling that in that little left glute. So quite a strong little activation here, but continue to press that lower back into the ground. So we're not pressing the legs so hard that we actually can't resist it with the hands. This is a really even, balanced movement. So you probably won't even really see the movement, but you definitely feel it. So pressing hands into inner thighs into hands, resisting either direction. Pressing lower back into the ground, holding it for 3, for 2, and 1, release. You might even notice those hips open a little bit more as you release. Again, we're going to do this. Relax the breath, relax the shoulders, hands to the inner thighs. And begin pressing hands into legs, legs into hands, drawing those knees, wanting to draw those knees together, but not ever getting there. Pressing that lower back into the ground, nice and strong. Full resistance for 3, for 2, and 1, release. Again, notice if those hips open a little bit more. Continuing to connect that lower back into the ground. We're going to do that one more time. When you're ready, pressing hands into legs, legs into hands, really strong here. Pressing lower back into the ground, activating. See if you can draw the belly button in a little bit more, really engaging with those core muscles for 3, for 2, and 1, and release. Lovely. Again, maybe rock the hips a little bit side to side. It's a really good way of creating a wee bit of space into those hip flexors as well. So you're kind of connecting with the muscle and then releasing. So it's a lot stronger release into that hip space. Again, we can stay here. We can stay hanging out here for a little bit more. If you want to join me in our diamond bridge, we're going to bring the hands to the ground. Fingertips point to the front of the mat. Pressing feet together, soles of the feet into the ground. We're going to gently peel the lower, middle back up the ground, off the ground, working the shoulder blades together. Taking that pressure off the head and neck, pressing hands, arms, shoulders into the ground, pressing outer blades of the feet into the ground. We're going to lift those hips as high as we can. Allow those knees fall toward the ground. Really feel those glutes, that lower back engaged. And just notice if you feel pressure in the lower back. I want you to gently draw that belly button in, almost like you want to touch the spine with your belly button. And we can stay here in the lift, or we can inhale, press up. And as we exhale, gently lower the hips, hovering just off the mat. Inhale really slowly up as we lift. Exhale really slowly lower, but continue to maintain that connection to the core. So don't release as we lower. I want you to keep engaged with those core muscles. Almost imagining drawing those inner thighs toward each other. We're really engaging into that pelvic floor. We'll do 2 more. Again, aiming for height and engagement. Last one. And then slowly release all the way down to the ground. We're going to hug both knees into the armpits and just make a few little circles, figure eights into that lower back, massaging the lower legs. Relax the shoulders, relax the back. And then eventually come into stillness. Keeping the feet off the ground, knees are together. We're going to bring those feet out at 90-degree angles again, pressing the lower back into the ground. This time, we're going to reach the arms toward the ceiling, palms face each other. Again, keep pressing that lower back into the ground. As we inhale, we're going to straighten the left leg and draw that right arm back overhead. Inhale back to center, and as we exhale, straighten the right leg and draw the left arm back overhead. And we're going to continue to alternate. So opposite arm to opposite leg, continuing to press that lower back into the ground. A little bit of coordination here. Little visualization. If you want to imagine there's a little ball between the hands. Just that we're keeping those palms facing each other, and it's just the alternative arm to that leg that we're moving. The other arm is still up toward the ceiling. Slowly, slowly, really press away through the heel. Try not to touch the foot down and keep pressing that lower back into the ground. This is our little dead bug. You want to give it a name? Super strong. Relax the breath. And the more of these we do, the more engagement we're going to feel little by little. We're going to do one more, both sides. Meeting back at center, and again placing those hands to the inner or to the thighs. This time without the block, we're just pressing the knees toward each other, pressing the hands into the legs, legs into the hands. We'll hold it here for 3. For 2. And 1, and gently release all the way down to the ground. This time, one last little resisted strengthener here. Feet are in the ground, knees are bent, feet are flat, knees are together, feet are together. We're going to bring the hands to the outer thighs here. We can walk those heels a little bit closer if we can't quite reach. We're going to lift the chest so the head will automatically come off the ground. So again, a little bit of core engagement here, pressing that lower back into the ground. And here, this time, we're going to press the outer thighs into the hands, hands into the outer thighs. So again, micro movements. We're just going to hold it here. Notice if we're feeling more so in the arms than into those hips. I want you to really press that belly in, press that lower back into the ground, and work into the hips. Holding it for 3, for 2, and 1. Release the head. We're going to step those feet about a fist width apart at the knees. Same again. Hands to the outside of the legs. We're going to lift from the chest, head will automatically lift. And again, we're pressing hands into legs, legs into hands. So again, start to feel it a little bit more into the inner thighs here. Holding it for 3, for 2, and 1. Gently release. Last one, stepping those feet to the outside of the mat. Again, hands are to the outside of the thighs. We're going to lift the chest, head will automatically come off the ground. We're pressing legs into hands, hands into legs. So again, quite an active movement, but with very little movement. So a very engaged movement, should I say. Holding it for 3, for 2, and 1. Release the head, release the neck. We're going to bring those arms out into our cactus arms, allow the knees fall toward each other. And this in itself is a lovely pelvic stabilizer. So you can hang out here for a lot longer than what we're going to do this morning, just pressing that lower back into the ground and working those feet away from each other as we draw the knees toward each other. But we're going to use this as a little release. So we're going to inhale, center, and as we exhale, drop both knees over to the right as we look over the left shoulder. Inhale back to center, exhale, knees drop to the left as we look over the right shoulder. And continue with your own breath. Gently windscreen wiping those knees side to side. Relax the breath. So quite a little bit of mat work here this morning, but just really trying to engage with those pelvic stabilizers, creating a little bit of extra strength into that lower back. A little bit of extra space into the hips. And then eventually we meet back at center. We're going to hug the knees toward the armpits. And then we bring the knees together, crisscross the ankles. Options to make your way anyway to seat, or you can rock and roll with me. We're going to do this 3 times, forward and back. Each time bringing ourselves into a nice strong seat at the front of the mat, using the movement to massage the spine, and then eventually meeting in a nice strong seat at the front of the mat. We'll bring the hands forward, shift the body weight forward so we can step back onto the knees into a nice strong tabletop. Shoulders over, elbows over wrists, elbow creases face forward. Knees hip width distance apart. We're going to tuck the belly button in and feel those lower back muscles engage. And here, instead of doing our cat-cow curls, we're just going to pelvic tilt. So we're drawing the belly button in, and then we're arching into that lower back. So upper body stays stable, and we're just working into that pelvic tilt. So like we did when we were lying on the ground, we'll probably get a little bit more movement in our tabletop. We just have a little bit more space to work in. So again, just notice how that feels. And hopefully it should feel a little bit more mobile even at this stage after that little sequence that we just did. So again, try to get as much movement here as you can. And again, you really cannot do too many of these. So like our cat-cow curls, same with our pelvic tilts. Work with a nice relaxed breath. And eventually we come back to center. We're going to walk the hands forward out in front. Tuck the toes under, looking back toward the feet. Sitting a little bit back toward the heels. We're going to press balls of the feet, hands into the ground. Lift the knees, lift the hips, all the way up into our downward dog. Releasing those heels down toward the mat. Pressing the ground away, try to draw the chest a little bit closer toward the mat and see if we can gently walk out those feet, allowing opposite heels melt softly toward the ground, nice and easy. Relax the head, relax the neck, drawing the belly in and really lifting those hips. So I want you to really feel that space into the lower back. We're going to look forward between the hands, gently walk away to the front of the mat. Coming through a lovely wide-legged forward fold. Feet are wider than mat width distance apart. Weight is back into the heels and hips. And we can touch the fingers either to the ground or to a block, but maintain a nice long spine and nice long legs. Left hand stays centered. We're going to inhale the right arm up, open the heart, take the gaze up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, left arm up and open the heart. Exhale, release. Continue with your own breath. Using the hand on the ground, pressing it into the ground to give ourselves a little bit more leverage into that twist. Trying to create as much heart space here as we can. Feeling that release into the inner hip. Relax the breath. Just allow ourselves to get nice and relaxed and flowy here in the movement. We'll do one more, both sides. Relaxing here in our forward fold. We're going to tuck the chin in and slowly, little by little, roll our way all the way up to stand. Head comes up last, and then we can gently walk those feet toward each other, meeting at the front of the mat. Again, if you have a block, you can place it to the front of the mat. We're going to go through a little flow sequence for the rest of the class this morning. Take a drink if you need. When you're ready, we're going to meet at the front of the mat, feet nicely grounded, about hip width distance apart, hands to heart. Relax the shoulders, draw the belly in, lengthening tall through the crown of the head. We're going to inhale both arms out, reaching up, palms together. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, gaze forward, palms to shins. Exhale, fold. Stepping right foot back to lunge, right hand stays grounded. We inhale the left arm up and open the heart, gaze follows up. Exhale, left hand back to the ground. Release the right knee to the ground. We're going to inhale both arms out, reaching up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart as we sink into those hips. Framing the left foot with both hands, we'll come off the right knee, step the left foot back to meet right, nice strong plank. Again, another nice hip stabilizer. Pressing the ground away, joints are stacked, we're pressing back through the heels. Nice straight line, neck to knees or neck to heels. So depending on where those shoulders are at, holding it, lifting through the body, drawing that belly in for 3, for 2, and 1. Exhale, knees, chest, chin to the ground, elbows in, roll the heart forward, untuck the toes, press the feet into the ground as we lift the chest. Exhale, tuck the toes, press the ground away, downward dog. Stillness or walk it out. For 3, for 2, and 1. Inhale, right leg up, looking forward, bend the right knee into the chest. We're going to step the right foot into lunge, release the left knee down. Inhale, both arms out, reaching up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart, interlock fingers just above the right knee. We'll inhale, lengthen tall, and as we exhale, release the hips. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. 2 more. Try to keep that right knee stacked over the heel, even if it means you need to shift that left knee back to get that space. 1 more. Keep drawing the belly button in. Framing the right foot with both hands. Coming off the left knee, we'll shift the body weight forward to step the left foot up to meet right, and then exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up to center, hands extended up, palms together. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. Stepping left foot back to lunge, left hand stays grounded. Inhale, right arm up and open the heart. Exhale, right hand back to the ground, resting left knee down. Inhale, both arms out, reaching up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart as we sink into those hips. Framing the right foot with both hands, come off the left knee, we'll step the right foot back into plank. Staying here in our high plank, or we can gently toe tap. So staying in our plank, or we can alternate opposite feet off the ground, but again, keeping that strong line. So we're still very much in our plank. We're just alternating feet off the ground. Keep pressing away through the heels, keep pressing into the ground. Nice and strong. Micro lifts here, so we're not going for a full lift. Just tapping for 3. For 2. And 1. Stillness. We'll exhale, knees, chest into the ground, elbows in, roll the heart forward, untuck the toes, press the feet into the ground as we lift the chest. Exhale, tuck the toes, press the ground away, downward dog. Stillness or walk it out, your choice. For 3. For 2. And 1. Inhale, left leg back and up, looking forward. We'll bend the left knee into the chest. Shifting the body weight forward, we're going to place that foot between the hands, release the right knee down. Inhale, both arms out, reaching up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart as we release into the hips. Interlock fingers just above the knee. Inhale, lengthen tall, pressing those hands into the leg. Exhale, sink the hips. Inhale, lengthen, draw the belly in. Exhale, release. 2 more. Feeling that into the hips. A little bit of a pelvic tilt going on here as well at the hips. Last one. Framing the left foot with both hands, coming off the right knee. Shifting the body weight forward, we're going to step the right foot up to meet left. And exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up through center. Hands extended up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart. Take a drink if you wish. We're going to go into a second round. When you're ready, meeting at the front of the mat, feet nicely grounded, hip width distance apart. Hands to heart, relax the shoulders, lengthening tall through the spine. Maybe tuck the chin a little bit to release into the back of the neck. Inhale, both arms out, reaching up, palms together. Exhale, swan dive, fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. Stepping right foot back to lunge, right hand stays grounded. Inhale, left arm up and open. Exhale, left hand back to the ground. Right knee on or off the mat, your choice. We're going to inhale both arms out, reaching up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart as we sink into those hips. Framing the left foot with both hands, right knee is off the ground. We're stepping the left foot back to meet right. Slowly lowering onto those forearms in our plank. Knees on or off the mat, just keep those hips nice and even. Bringing the left forearm parallel to the front edge of the mat. Coming over onto the outer blade of the left foot, we're lifting the hips forward and upward. Again, if it's too much on the shoulder, drop to that left knee. Right hand is on the hip to start with. We're working for that lift. We're going to bring the right arm up toward the ceiling. And on an inhale, we're going to draw the right knee toward the right elbow, really strong. Exhale, straighten it out. Inhale, a knee to elbow in. Exhale, extend it out. 3 more. Feel free to follow that right hand with the gaze if you want to really challenge the balance. Keeping those hips lifted. And again, remember, this can be done with the left knee on the ground, so don't battle it. We'll do 2 more. Nice and strong. Lots of pelvic stability required here. And then we're going to release the foot, release that right forearm back to the ground. Left forearm parallel. When you're ready, we're going to press our way back up into our high plank. Inhale here and then exhale, knees, chest, chin to the ground, elbows in. Roll the heart forward and tuck the toes. Press the feet into the ground as we lift the chest. Exhale, tuck the toes. Press the ground away, lift the hips. Downward dog. Stillness, walk it out or child's pose if you wish. For 3. For 2. And 1. We're going to inhale the right leg up. This time, keep it up there. We're going to bend the right knee and we're going to open those hips to the right side of the room. Pressing the sole of that right foot to the left. We should be able to look underneath the armpit and see it hanging out. See if we can lower the left heel and lift that right knee a little bit higher. Pressing the arms strongly into the ground for 3. For 2. And 1, straighten the right leg, looking forward between the hands. We're going to hug the right knee into the chest. Shifting the body weight forward, we'll step that right foot between the hands. Left knee on or off the mat, your choice. Inhale, both arms out, reaching up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart as we sink into the hips. Interlock fingers just above the right knee. If the left knee is off the ground, that leg is super strong. We're pressing back through the heel, straightening the leg as much as we can. Inhale, lengthen tall. Press those hands into the thigh. And as we exhale, sink the hips. Inhale, lengthen, draw the belly in, relax the shoulders. 2 more. Last one. Framing the right foot with both hands coming off the knee if we're not there already. Gently shift the body weight forward to step the left foot up to meet right. And exhale, fold. Inhale, rolling up to center. Hands extended up, palms together. Exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, gaze forward, hands to shins. Exhale, fold. Stepping left foot back to lunge, left hands grounded. Inhale, right arm up and open the heart. Exhale, right hand back to the ground. Left knee on or off the mat. We're going to inhale both arms out, reaching up, palms together as we exhale, hands to heart, sinking into those hips. Framing the right foot with both hands. Stepping the right foot back into plank, nice and strong. Feel free to stay here on or off the knees. Otherwise, join me as we lower down onto the forearms, shoulders stacked over elbows. We're going to bring the right forearm parallel to the front edge of the mat. Coming onto the outer blade of that right foot. Left hand is on the hip. Notice if the bum's popped out behind. We're going to press the hips forward and upward. And again, this can be done with the right knee on the ground. We'll start by straightening that left arm up toward the ceiling. When you're ready, inhale, bend left elbow, left knee into touch. As we exhale, straighten it out, reaching that arm overhead. Inhale, knee to elbow in. Exhale, straighten it out. 3 more. Again, really trying to keep those hips lifted. 2 more. Drop down to the right knee if you need. Last one. Rest the foot. We're going to bring that left forearm back to the ground, right forearm parallel. Reconnect with those shoulders when you're ready. We're going to press our way strongly back up into our high plank. Inhale here. Exhale, knees, chest chin to the ground, elbows in, roll the heart forward, untuck the toes. Press the feet into the ground as we lift the chest. Exhale, tuck the toes. Press the ground away, lift the hips. Downward dog. Stillness, walk it out, or child's pose if you wish. Relax the breath. For 3. For 2. And 1, staying in our downward dog. We're going to inhale the left leg back and up. We're going to bend the left knee, open the hip to the left side of the room, press on the sole of the foot to the right, dropping the right heel down, see if we can lift the left knee a little bit higher for 3. For 2. And 1, straighten the left leg, looking forward. We're going to bend the left knee into the chest. Gently shift the body weight forward to place that left foot to the front of the mat. Right knee on or off the mat. We're going to inhale, both arms out, reaching up, palms together. Exhale, hands to heart as we soften into the hips. Interlock fingers just above the left knee. Inhale, lengthen, tall. Exhale, release. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. Continue with your own breath. Again, that right knee is super stable. We're pressing back through the heel. Relax the shoulders. Last one. This time we're going to release the right knee all the way down to the ground. Bringing both hands either side of the foot, and then we're going to walk the left foot to the very, very outside of the mat. Bringing both hands inside. We're going to shift that right knee back as far as we can so we feel a lovely release into the front of the right hip. If you need to cushion the knee, do so either with a towel or you can roll up maybe a part of the mat. We can untuck that right toe. Get a little bit deeper into those hips that we've been working so hard. So quite a lot of little micro engagements here. So we're working into our deeper hip muscles, our deeper hip stabilizers. And we're just rocking into the hips. Easing the body into it. And again, we can stay here. We can stay high up onto the hands. We could even get a little bit higher and place the hands to the block. You might even feel the release a little bit more. Or if you want to sink just into those hips, we can walk the hands forward, sinking the body to the ground. We might rest forearms on the block at any level that feels good for you. We might come all the way down to the ground, wherever we are. Tuck the chin, gently release into the head and neck. So just allow the head and neck to fall here. And even just as we do that, even that slight little chin tuck, we're going to feel the whole posterior chain of the body release. Relax the head, relax the neck, relax the breath. Feeling that space soften between the shoulders. And we're going to stay here for just about a minute, nowhere longer. Just allowing the fascia release. So we've got all these fascial systems working around our body, holding us together. And sometimes when one little part of that system gets tight, it can cause tightness and issues into a part of the body that we don't even think is related. So again, just enjoying that space. Relax the head, relax the neck, even give it a little shake to remind it to relax. The last couple of breaths here. When you're ready, if you're not there already, we're going to come back up onto the hands. We're going to place the right hand toward the center of the mat, either on or off the block, your choice. Left hand rests just above the left knee. We're going to gently look over the left shoulder, coming into a little twist here. Drawing the belly button in, holding it for 3, releasing for 2, and 1. Left hand comes back to the ground. We're going to tuck the right toe under, come off the knee, and really gently we're going to bring the left foot around to meet right. Lift the hips and walk it out nice and slowly in our downward dog. So again, no sudden movements, just easing out the soft tissue, getting a little bit of blood flow and energy back into those hips, into those legs. Eventually come into stillness. We're going to inhale the right leg back and up. Looking forward, we bend the right knee into the chest. Gently shift the body weight forward to step the right foot to the front of the mat. Softening the left knee to the ground on top of the toe. We're going to walk the right foot to the very outside of the mat. This time, both hands come inside. Try to get that right knee stacked over the heel so it's not jutting out too far forward. We might shift that left knee back a little bit further just to really release into those hips. Cushion the knee if you need. Again, we can stay high on the finger pads. We can come up onto a block if you wish. Relaxing through those shoulders. Again, we're just gently rocking into the hip to start with, just mobilizing a little bit further into that joint. Not forcing it, we're not bouncing, just a very gentle movement here, easing into the soft tissue. And if we want to go deeper, we can walk the hands forward. Coming onto the block, but 1 forearm, maybe 2 forearms, maybe coming all the way down to the ground. But if we've come quite low, just make sure we're still feeling that into the front of the left hip and into the right hip, a little bit into the hamstring. Relax the head, relax the neck, softening through the body. Again, even just noticing as you slightly tuck the chin to the chest, you're going to feel that whole posterior chain release. And just notice if one side feels a little bit more mobile than the other. And again, not forcing one side to do what the other side did, just noticing, acknowledging. But for now, just enjoying that space wherever it is, however deep it is. Easing the shoulders, easing the head, the neck. So just easing the whole body so we can really access that hip. Last couple of breaths on this side. Nice and nothing forced. When you're ready, we'll tuck the chin in, come back up onto the hands if we're not there already. Placing that left hand center of the mat, either on or off the block, right hand just above the knee. We're going to gently look over the right shoulder. Feeling an extra little release into the front of the left hip for 3. For 2. And 1, gently turning, both hands come to the front. We're going to tuck the left toe under, come off the knee really slowly. We'll step the right foot back to meet left, lift the hips and walk it out. One last time in our downward dog, taking any little movement that feels good for your body this morning. Doesn't even have to be downward dog. So anything at all, maybe rocking into the hips. Maybe looking out underneath opposite armpits, maybe moving forward and back, whatever feels good. Eventually, we'll come to stillness in our downward dog. Slowly releasing down onto the knees. We're going to bring the big toes to touch. Knees are nice and wide apart. And we'll sit back toward the heels, making a little pillow by piling one hand, one fist on top of the other. And again, just rocking those hips side to side, releasing any last little bit of tension we're holding in the hips, the lower back. Allow the belly melt. Allow the heart melt. Allow the breath relax. And eventually coming to stillness. And just feeling the body earthed to the ground. Relax the breath and just notice if it's a little bit caught up in the chest, draw it a wee bit deeper down into the belly. Letting go of any tension that lies still within the body. Breathing it in. And as you exhale, just sigh it out, release, and let it go. When you're ready, We're going to tuck the chin in, press the hands into the ground and slowly walk the hands back toward the body until we're sitting all the way back up onto the heels. And then we can walk the knees together. We can either finish here, sitting back in the heels. We can come back into easy cross-legged or any other seat that feels good for you this morning. And we're going to finish just like we started. So wherever way we're seated, we're going to lengthen tall through the spine, relax the shoulders, engage with those lovely strong core muscles. We're going to open the palms to the ceiling. And then inhale the arms out, reach it up. Interlock fingers, press palms to ceiling. As we exhale, press the palms forward, release the breath, sigh it out and let it go. We'll do that twice more. Gently bring the hands to heart, press the palms together, close down the eyes, and just thank yourself for creating a wee bit of space in your morning to come to the mat, to look after yourself, to create some great strength, some lovely stability, and hopefully take that with you into the day and into the week ahead. And thank you for sharing your practice and your energy with me. Namaste.